traders, what's up? Welcome back to this new video. Today's video is the first trade breakdown series of the channel. As I promised in my first video in the introduction of this channel, I will do some breakdowns of some of my trades. So this week was pretty much volatile with a lot of opportunities in the market for myself compared to the last week, which was very slow. But at the same time, it was the very first week of the year, so it was understandable. So the slowness of the market, but this week was volatile also because I think the big player, banks, institution, whatever you want to call them, are already back in the play. So for me, I trade for the last week from January 5th to January 16th. I made a total of 7 trades, 2 losses and 5 wins. So without further ado, let's break down this trade. We're gonna start with the Euro CHF, my first loss. So in Euro CHF, I was following you can see the weekly order flow bearish. On the daily I have, you can see from this low to this high with a break of structure, I have a daily order flow. You can see I was expecting price to return in the premiums in the discount zone to take my entry. Discount zone is between you you see you see these you see these three yellow line. This represent my my discount zone. This is where I want to find my entry to take a buy. Okay, so once price reach this region, I go down to the lower time frame on UCHF and I saw a new order flow for our, you can see price drop, break this high. So I was looking to the same thing from this low to this high, waiting price to return around the discount zone to confirm an entry in a lower time frame in 1 hour. So let me play my replay bar. So being in a discount zone on a daily order flow, this is my daily. From this low to this high will return in discount zone. I wait for a break of structure, a new 4-hour order flow forming. You can see from this low to this high we break this high. So when I zoom in, I identify my point of control from the last week. It's an important zone. By the way, I also mark up the point of control from the last month, which would be a nice zone to keep an eye on. So when price reach there, let me play. We have a new break of structure. As soon as price break this high, I get in the trade. I get in the trade. Okay, so let's play. I will explain you why it is a loss. The playing continue to keep going playing. I was aiming for at least this high as my first target and eventually this high for my final target. But what happened, you don't see it, but I have I got stopped out of the trade in my broker chart because of the manipulation of the spread at midnight European time zone. Let me show you. I I analyze my trade on this instrument from the quotation from FXCM, and I trade and I put my execution. I execute the trade on EuroCHF.I, which is the instrument available for my Blueberry broker, which is the broker I use to trade. So, as I said, I got stopped out of this trade because of the manipulation. You know, the spread at midnight. For those of you who know, that usually happen when you are trading with CFD brokers. Broker usually restart quotation of price at midnight European time zone for each instrument. That cause usually large spread during this period of about half hour depending on your broker. On top of that, I didn't pay attention to the bad quotation. You can see when I zoom out, the quotation of Euro CHF on my broker is very ugly. A lot of wicks you can see. I didn't pay attention of that, so for me, technically the trade is going on, keep going, but I lost. I got stopped out. You know, it is what it is. Second loss is on Nasdaq. So I was looking to buy on Nasdaq. So the trend is bullish in weekly normally. Let's go to the daily. Daily, I also see a trend. You can see from this low to this high, we form a higher low. We're expecting to form a higher high. So I was bullish on this trade, on this instrument. So go to the 4 hour. My first trade was here. So let me play my replay tools here. So I lost two trades, three trade in a row. I will explain you why. So my first trade was, I think, in 1 hour. Um, I was following the order flow, the 4 hour order flow. When I go to 4 hour, you can see we have this from this low to this high. We form a higher low. We break structure. We form a new 4 hour order flow. So I was following this order flow. So I was bullish. So then I saw at the beginning of the week this imbalance zone, you can see. So I place a limit order, a buy limit specifically, and put my stop around below this low. This low was a demand zone here. I was I was pretty confident to put my stop loss here because stop loss was below the point of control for last week, also below the point of control of last month. So that's how I like to use it. On top of that, we are price is distributing between this channel. You can see. So I expect at least price to drop and don't break the channel, drop at least somewhere here and shoot up, but that you can also imagine, you can also guess it wasn't the case, and price decide to stop me out. So I got I got a little bit spicy, excited with this trade because I put after looking this trade dropping, I don't know why, but I put some order buy limit here on this point of control. You can see point of control for that month, and also put another buy limit on this point of control of last week. That was not very smart for me, so I got stop out for the three trade. The three trade in the road, I lost this trade. So when I lost three trade in a row like that, I decide to stop a moment and get and zoom out a little bit to see where am I, why is price is dropping so hard like that. I was wondering if price is going even lower than that, than this low. So that's why I check the news. I check some news. I believe this week we had this bunch of news on inflation data. You can see here we have the CPI, the core CPI, the CPI year on year, which comes out neutral. Same with the CPI month on month. We have the core CPI, which comes out a little bit softer, lower than we expect. So remember, instrument like indices, S&P, whatever is Nasdaq, they likes lower inflation because lower inflation is good for businesses. So I expect price to rise with based on what's based on this data. We also have retail sales who comes out pretty good. Remember, retail sales is also good for businesses. You know, indices is is a composite of, for example, we are trading right now Nasdaq. Nasdaq is a composite of tech industry, tech company. So company or businesses that like lower inflation, and also for the last month we have a good retail, we have a good sales, which is very good for businesses also. We also have unemployment claims, which comes out lower than expected, which is also good for businesses. Remember, the the last NFP numbers about the unemployment last week was also released good number, as a good number. So we have a lower unemployment, we have a lower unemployment claims. So with all those data, I am I'm bullish on Nasdaq. He's very bullish on Nasdaq. So I come back to the three trade I lost in a row. As soon as I saw a rebound on this monthly open, monthly and yearly open, I get in again in the trade because fundamentally and based on the news we had this week, I think is a high probability Nasdaq keep going higher. So I get in again in the trades. This time I put my stop loss below this demand zone. We can clearly see it on 4 hour. Yeah, you see a base rally leaving behind a gap. So this is a strong demand. We also already tap in this demand one time. So I decided to put my stop a little bit lower than this demand. I get in, so I expect price to to reintegrate this channel and keep going up. So that's why I get in again. So let's play. You see, price. So this is the end of the week. So I keep this trade in my portfolio. So I already put my stop loss to break even. I train my stop to break even because I already lost three trade in a row, so I don't want to lose a fourth trade. So that's why I trail my stop to break even to limit the risk on this trade. So I expect for the next week long to the buy side to this on this instrument. So let me show you the trade execution. We are in Nasdaq on Blueberry. Let me remove the replay mode. Yeah, so this my currently my last trade on Nasdaq. I'm currently in break even, so I expect price to rise for the next week. Okay. The next one is the GBP USD, the trade I took this week. So I was expecting with a strong dollar, I was expecting a sell on GBP USD, rejecting this point of control. This is the point of control from the last year. So let's go to the daily to see. So this was my daily order flow because we had this structure. You see we forming a lower low. We have a lower high, lower low. So I was expecting price to drop because when I mark up my Fibonacci, price is currently in a premium zone from this daily order flow. You see, price is in premium zone. So from that, I expecting some sell off on GBP USD. So let me place my replay tools. So on 4 hour, you can see 4 hour we have a order flow 4 hour. You see, we already break this low. I think we break this low last week. I mark up my point of control from the last week. I also keep an eye on point of control from the last year. This is the plan I share in my last weekly forecast or my last weekly market outlook. If you didn't see the weekly market outlook from the last week, you can go and check it. I explain all my plan for the weekly for the weekly for the week. Okay, so I was planning to wait price was waiting price to came around this imbalance zone. You see, that was my plan. I explained. So the plan was perfectly executed, play very well. So let's at the beginning of the week, I was waiting price to reach this zone. When price reached this zone, I placed a first trade when I saw a rejection, a 4 hour closure, a 4 hour bearish closure. I put my first order, put my stop loss a little bit higher than this supply zone because we it's kind of like of a head and shoulder forming, you see. So I put my stop just above this shoulder. Okay, so that's what I put my stop loss. That's where I put my stop loss. So keep going. You can see we had this. I was waiting a second confirmation to adding my trade. So as soon as I go down to the 1 hour, I I was waiting a break of structure in 1 hour. You can see this is the structure we break this low, and I was waiting price to return on this zone. I already placed a sell limit order to take another entry with more, with a tight stop, with a more risk reward. Okay, that's my second position. Let's play it. Gonna keep, see, that's my second entry. I have another entry. You already see, we see, we break in a 15-minute structure. You can see I wait price to return on this order block. I put another entry. I scaling three entry on this trade, multiple entries. This trade, when I have confirmation and I have a bias on a trade, I don't hesitate to scaling to 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 take advantage of the trend. Okay, so we can see, let's play it. I get out of the trades right here. I did not want to keep holding this trade because my initial target was around here, but I decided to close my trade here as soon as I saw the news on GBP, on the pound, which was, I believe, the GDP, the the gross domestic product, and other bunch of news on GBP released on Thursday. We have the GDP, which prints 0.3%, which is higher than we expect and higher than the last GDP month on month date release, which is pretty much good for pounds, good for pounds, whether we know that pound is currently weak because of what's going on in UK. Also, I we have pretty good news on manufacturing production. See, we have 2.1%, which is good. We have also a good number on industrial production. It's true that the goods trade balance was not not good, but when I saw the important data about the GDP month on month comes out positive, I was a little bit scared on when I was in this trade. So I decided to close here. I don't want to give back my profit to the market. But if if the GDP was 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 comes out bad, maybe I will let the trade run to this low for 2 weeks. But as soon as I saw this bunch of good news, I would say, on GBP, I decide to close it right here, which is not a bad risk risk ratio, risk reward, you know. So on top of that, I am trading a small account. They are already found my public live account. I will show you at the end of the video. But growing a small account, we need to take profit very quick because yeah, if you want to grow this account, we need to grow our capital. By growing capital, we need to bank some profits. Okay, so All right, let's go to the Euro USD trade. So on the Euro USD, I was also bearish. Matter of fact, um, I was bearish on all those dollar pairs, especially specifically on Euro USD and GBP USD because I was also monitoring the GXY. I'm gonna show you right now. Let me split my screen. On the left we have Euro USD. On the right, I will put the DXY to show you where is the DXY. On the right and on the left, I have the Euro USD. So Euro USD, let me show you. I was expecting a lower prices. As I said, I have my daily order flow. You can see my daily shift breaking structure to the downside. So I like to follow the daily order flow on the forward order flow. When my daily and forward order flow is as aligned in the same direction, for me is powerful. So it gave me some confidence to take my trade on the sell side. As I explained on my weekly market outlook last week, I was expecting price with this order flow, 4 hour order flow, to retrace around premium zone. So from this high to this low, I will expect price to retrace around this zone. See, expect price to retrace around this zone. This is my premium zone. Price reach this zone, I go down to the 1 hour. The 1 hour. So as soon as I saw this bearish closing below this low, I get in a trade, my first trade. I zoom in and get my second entry. My second entry was on this imbalance zone. You see, I put the sell limit around here, so that's why I put my second entry. And then my third entry was here. We see we break this low. We have a shift of structure. Let me go to the 15 minutes so you can see it clearly. You see, I have this kind of structure. See, yeah, this kind. I was waiting this break. I put some some alerts on this line, this blue line, to notify me why price break this line in order for me to add another trade on this one. Okay, so that's the trade for Euro USD, and I get out around this zone here when we run this low. Okay, the next trade I took is USD CHF. So in USD CHF, I in my last weekly forecast, I mentioned this zone, this demand zone. When you go back in the past, in 2011, I believe, is yeah, is very back in the days. When we go to daily time frame, we can see it clearly. Let me zoom it. Yeah, you see we have some good demand here. So this demand price is currently holding above this demand. So for me, I was looking for long, on top of the fact that I was bullish on dollar this week, so that's where my setup comes in 4 hour. I identify this order flow. You can see we break structure. I just wait price to retest this order block. You see here, I just wait price to retest it. Prove me that buyers reject this level, and I get in this trade. So again, I get in somewhere here. Put my stop below this order block we seen in 4 hour. You see, just to not get stop out again. You know what's happening. You will say I chef on my first trade. I don't want to be stop out with some weeks or something like that. So I put a large stop on this one. My target was this high, but we we pretty much it's my first target around this trend line. You see this trend line passing through this high. When price reached there, I decided to close my trade. So that's it for USD CHF. The next trade is on Euro odd. So for Euro odd, I have this order flow. You see, from this low to this high, this is my monthly order flow. So currently price is coming from premium zone, so I was expecting a drop of price around this discount zone. So let's go to the weekly. Weekly, I am bearish on weekly. Could see, let's go to the daily. So this was my daily order flow. We have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We break this low. So this is my daily order flow. Let's go to the 4 hour. I also have my 4 hour order flow. You can see the 4 hour order flow is distributing clearly between this channel. You can see. So I took my trade, I believe, somewhere here, but I also have the point of control I mark up here, which really helped me to take these trades. To be honest, if it wasn't this point of control, I will not take this trade. So I will explain you why. So I took my trade. My first entry was here because I saw breakout structure. You see, price came here. We break the structure one time. We break a second time. We have a double break. So I decide to enter somewhere here to so I was expecting price to keep shorting, but price didn't do that. So it made me very nervous. So price decided to make a higher low. That makes me very nervous. So I was reducing my risk. I closed some trade around here to reduce my risk. Why? On top of the fact that you see this 4 hour order flow, you can see clearly here with this 4 hour order flow, we are currently we are in discount zone, so it wasn't a good zone to sell a market. So I was expecting at least price come on the 50%, this to the 78%. This represents my discount zone. So I was expecting price to reach minimum around this zone before dropping. This is where I will take the best entry. But if you see it clearly, price tap the 50%. It doesn't always need to go on above the 50% or the 61% or even higher, tapping this supply zone. When the trend is strong, we also need sometimes we also need a little tap on 50% before really going lower. So I was waiting for that, so I put my shift of structure here because this is was the last low before dropping. So when price break this low, enter again the trade directly. So you can see in 4 hour when price closed strongly in 4 hour, I get in the trade because we already tapped the 50%, and I know fundamentally Aussie dollar is strong. So that's why you need to know the monetary policy. The fact that we know that AUD, Australian Central Bank of Australian, project to is the only banks I believe who project to hike rates this year. That's why AUD is very very strong right now. So I explained all this in my first video, in my first weekly forecast, on my very very first video, which is I believe my big level to watch. I explain also the projection of central banks, why they are, what we expect for the 2026 for some currencies, for each currencies. So I recommend to go check it if you have not. I explain all that here there. So that's why this is also why I didn't trade AUD USD. AUD USD was with the dollar, with a strong dollar. I was not able to short AUD USD because AUD Aussie dollar is very strong. So in euro, I took my profit somewhere here. I didn't even wait price to run this low because we also heading to the end of the week. It was Friday, so I decided to close my trade around here. And the last trade was NZD I believe is the trade I took at the end of the last week in a swing position. So we have, you can see we have the weekly order flow. This is my weekly order flow. We're forming a higher low, higher low. I expecting price to retrace this order flow at least to this 50% around this premium zone. So but this is very very far. We remember we are in weekly time frame, so let's zoom in daily. So in daily I mark up my daily order flow. You can see we have a shift of structure on daily order flow. So that's why I put this arrow below here to mark up my daily order flow, and I expecting price to drop around my discount zone to take a trade. So price is was dropped in premium in discount zone. So in discount zone I go down to the 4 hour. I also have my 4 hour shift order flow. You can see we came from here, 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 we shift. So I mark up my 4 hour order flow. So I have the daily order flow, bullish, the 4 hour order flow is just turned bullish. So I found an entry around this order block. I will take an entry around this order block, but because of the spread of this pair, I think the market slipped me around here. So my entry was around here. So let's go to the 1 hour. In 1 hour, I was looking to add some trade. I was waiting this order flow 1 hour to shift. This is where we have the shift. So I get in again another trade here. So I had some trade here and another here above the point of control of last month. So during the week, I realized that the point of control from the last month was holding price in daily. You can see here we didn't break. We reject one time. We also reject a second time, a third time. When price is rejecting this point of control many times, I decide to reduce my risk and put some trade, take other trade like Euro USD. So I remove these two trades from the list, this one and this one. I put my stop to break even to secure the trade, and I let the rest run in swing trade. I think I close around this this zone. So that's it for my. I could hold the trade around this, but again we are in a small account. I want to grow it fast because yeah, it's very hard to trade small accounts. So as soon as I get some profit in the table, I need to bank some profit. So talking about my small account, I will show you. This is the platform I use, Blueberry X. I already explained it in my first video. So I'm currently I have a running trade in swing position. I have a trade on Nasdaq. The trade I retake after my 3 loss in a row, and I have another trade on AUD NZD, which is currently, let me show you, running, which is not going very well. So we will see we currently in negative. So I was aiming to run this high. So let's see for this is a swing trade. Let's see for the next week if price will rebound off of this demand. So again, I'm bullish on AUD. I think AUD is fundamentally stronger than NZD. So I expect price to go even higher. So let's see for the next week. So let's go back to the Blueberry X. Blueberry X, yeah. So as I said, this will be my public. You don't even see it. Let me see. Oh, this is my public account. This is a live account, by the way. You can see the cash movement. I will aggregate by type. So I deposit. You can see up. Yeah, you can see I found this live account with $1,000 on January 6th at the beginning of the year. I made already a profit of about $500 with commission fees of $23, and financing is a positive of $9. I think if you are familiar with MetaTrader, this is the equivalence of swap fees. Is the swap fees the broker give you, finance you by holding trade. Carry trade, for those of you who know carry trade, when you hold trade with a high interest rate, so broker can reward you with a positive swap fees. Okay. All right. I just scrap it a little bit to show you this is a live account if effectively. So this is a live account I found at the beginning of the January. So I already make some profit this account. So the as I said in my first video, the goal is to build a track record by the end of the year to show that is possible to grow this account. But don't do like me. I am very, very aggressive on this account because I know what I am doing. So if you are very beginner, if you are not experienced in trading, I do not recommend to trade like me. So I do this because I already experience. I have a lot of experience in trading. So that's why I allow myself to take some risk. To be honest, taking a 1% trade on 1% risk on $1,000 is $10. $10 is very. That's why it's very hard to trade a small accounts. So I plan to be aggressive. I said it in my first video. I plan to be aggressive on risk management at the beginning of this journey. As soon as the account is growing, I will reduce my risk progressively. So that's it. This is the end of the video. So please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This will help me know that you appreciate my content. So thank you for watching. It was Josue, the part-time trader. I'm out.